Hello, my dear. Hello, my dear beloved friends. Good morning and good evening, and a warm welcome to one and all of you. As usual, it's a great pleasure for me to stay connected through these online sessions, and the important objective of these sessions are none other than getting you the best quality output of your life, right? Or helping you to march forward in your life and staying positively in everything that you do in your life. And also through these sessions, we are teaching that how important it is to do things in your life with a lot of passion, right? Today, the whole world lacks a lot of passion, right? And everything that they do and anything that they do, they don't tend to have that passion in their lives. So the more we do things not passionately, the more you end up in frustration. And that's the reason you see that a lot of people are not able to march ahead in their life. At some point of time, they are either stuck or they do not know how to march ahead. And that's the reason these kind of sessions are very helpful to drag you out of that situation and get the best output from you. Because in this world, nobody is lacking in any talent. Never ever think that person is better than me. The neighbor's daughter is better than me. Nothing like that. They also have the same brains in their head, and what amount of brains you have, they also have the same brains. Only thing, they use their brains, you are not using your brains. I'm telling this on a lighter note, so don't get worked up and all that, right? I'm just telling this on a lighter note. Anyway, warm welcome to this series again, and today we are going to deal with a topic which every one of you would have gone through in your life, that is called as frustration. Many people don't even understand the real meaning of frustration, and that's the reason I want to be very clear on what is the difference between frustration and anger, difference between frustration and aggression. It's not going to be a very long series, very long session, but we will see what best to do to cover, right? Now, frustration by definition, if you look at it, it goes like this. In psychological world, right? Frustration is a common emotional response. It's like a stimuli, right? To express your opposition or related to anger or related to annoyance, related to disappointment. Frustration arises from the perceived resistance to the fulfillment of an individual's will or goal and is likely to increase when a will or goal is denied or blocked, right? For example, you meet a person and you want to approach that person with a desire that you want him to help him, you want him to help you in certain situations, but the person declines, saying, no, I cannot, this is not possible for me. And he also turns off that response very politely, yet you get very emotional. Why? Because you approach with certain expectation, and expectation is transformed to anxiety. So many times you would see that 10 out of 8 out of 10 times people get into frustration is because their expectations are not met. And that is the very very bad habit. If at all you are having that habit in you, do not approach a person with a predefined expectation. You can always approach a person with an expectation, but be prepared to also accept the negativity of the negativity side of the response. The person, you cannot force anybody, right? It's his desire or it's her desire to help you or accept what you're saying and all that. So example, you are in a leadership position, right? You cannot emphasize certain things to your team saying that this is how you should do and all that. You should also give importance to the team's feeling and all that. So when you don't get into these kind of teams response, you are not considered as a good leader. People definitely decline, people definitely reject your leadership position, and probably they may end up looking for a different leader. So you are in a team lead position or in a managerial position, you cannot emphasize things and dictate team to do this. And when they don't do it, you get frustrated. And when they do it without any passion, they get frustrated. So what happens is, so that's called as dialogue. It cannot be a monologue. A person who is involved in one way communication, that is monologue. When I say you better do it, what happens is, when the other person declines, this person get into frustration. The other person, when he or she accepts things by force, they get into frustration. So that's exactly the reason why we need to have a dialogue for every kind of decisions that we make in our lives. All right. Now, what is an example of frustration? I've already given you a few examples, but very Clear definition or examples are: frustration is basically defined as to have prevented someone from accomplishing something or annoyed someone. You're a big blocker for somebody not to move ahead. It happens in families also, right? What you want to do, wife doesn't allow. What wife want to do, husband doesn't allow. What parents want to do, they are not given that liberty. Therefore, they get into all sorts of frustration, and that's why it's very, very important for us to understand that frustration is common among the mankind, and only thing we need to find ways to overcome it. An example to have frustrated is someone to have continuously bothering a person while she was doing her homework or something like that, right? Somebody comes into disturbances, or mommy keeps annoying. What kind of marks you're getting? What is the use of you studying? And all, while the child is doing the homework, is this the time to induce that kind of commentary? You could wait. And she's a child, right? Or she's a student, or he's a college going person and all that, and that's they're trying their best. But if they're not able to score marks, you're supposed to encourage, you're supposed to give them that energy and not frustrate and pull down their motives. That's very important. If a goal is being blocked, people often become very frustrated. For example, if we are feeling very angry at the source of the frustration, we may become very aggressive. Yeah, frustration turns into anger. I'm going to explain that. Frustration aggression theory states that the frustration often leads to the aggressive behavior. And aggression is nothing but the dictatorship. The tone changes, the facial expression changes, and what happens is the people will start disliking you. They hate you, and they don't come to you, and they don't accept you as their leader. Or, for example, you even lose good relationship, right, between husband and wife, between parent and children. So you got to be very careful. And this theory was proposed by Dollard, in the year of 1993 or something like that. Okay. Anyway, so we saw a little bit of examples. Now, is frustration different from anger? Anger and frustration, are they one and the same? Actually, there is a thin line of difference. Of the many vulnerable feelings which can be converted into anger, frustration is the most common, right? Now, as we noted, most people, they do not understand the difference between frustration and anger, and I gave you a few examples. By and large, because they convert frustration into anger so quickly and consistently that they equate that both are the same. No, frustration is the beginning stage. How frustration comes out is what we have explained, that you cannot predefine your expectations or emphasize a person to do certain things according to your will, according to your desires, according to your expectation. And that's how the frustration develops into aggression, and aggression develops into anger. It's like a three-way process. It's a three-step process: frustration to aggression, aggression to anger, and anger may be converted into manhandling or transformed into violence. Anything it can happen. So there is no guarantee. Yeah, any frustration, in my experience, I've never seen ending up so peacefully. No, no, they will end up in a terrible fight. Relationships break, gets broken up, and all nasty things happen. So the beginning step is frustration, and the reason for frustration we have explained: lower your expectations. Simple. Why am I so easily getting frustrated? Many people ask this question too. See, when stress in the normal range, for example, anxious personalities can be, patient while with others. As they analyze a less effective person who's not very, overwhelmed in anxiety. But when anxiousness increases, anxious personalities can become more impatient with the less effective pace of others, which can result in becoming more easily frustrated too, right? And how do you show frustration? Also depends. Some ways it might be expressed as, botheration, right? I don't have time for this. I don't know what else to do. Say, why won't they listen to me? They're never listening to me. They never pay attention to me. Can't I ever catch a break around here? Am I the only animal here? Right? Am I a human being or not? So many people get into this yelling tone. Why? Because that kind of things are suppressed inside them for a very long time. That's another source of frustration. That's another reason for frustration. So consistently, I suggest you should develop that habit of building that relationship, or finding a person, a mentor, or anybody to whom you can share your feelings, especially your disappointments. Maybe you're angry. It's important that you keep sharing that at the periodic time, or periodic intervals, that it doesn't develop at one point of time as an explosion, right? You explode. So that will be a disaster, actually. It would have been far better for you to keep sharing things in regular intervals with the people whom you know, whom you trust. Now, what are the causes for frustration? Few of them I already touched upon, but technically speaking, you have only limited resources. For example, you have limited money, but you want to buy something, but you don't have money. But your neighbor is buying, frustration. Or limited manpower in a team, right? What happens is many people get overloaded with work, frustration develops. Limited resources, right? You need to watch out on that. Why? Because you need to have that kind of resources availability, or lower your expectations, yeah. Or compromise on your targets, or change your targets accordingly. Unclear relationship is also something like that, which is a reason for frustration. Unclear communication is another aspect, and status and role inconsistencies. Personal background. The person might have come from a culture which is kind of in a lower position as far as the community or society is concerned. They develop that inferiority complex. So what happens is, one side they cannot share, and the other side they're not able to also equate themselves, or mentally and psychologically. At the same time, they don't have the resources, therefore they could dress up well or buy a car, in the place they work, or in the schools they attend, or in the college they go. So they develop that frustration because of the difference in the community also. All these reasons, definitely we all go through in our lives. There could be also many other reasons. And my point here is very simple, that if you are involved in any kind of frustrations, never think you are the only one, or the whole world go through it, right? How does frustration affect behavior? See, when a continuous stream of negative emotions hijacks our frontal lobes, or brain's architecture changes, right, leaving us in a heightened stress changes, or mood changes, or mood swings, where fear, anger, anxiety, frustration, sadness, along with this you will develop so many other behavioral behavioral pattern changes also will be overwhelming. So you need to, and the logical thinking of the brains also changes, the pattern changes completely. So you are going to behave as a different person, and people will be shocked at your behavior. I never expected this out of you. Have you heard? I never had thought or dreamt in my life that you would be talking like this, or you would be behaving like this. Why? Because of these problems which we are describing for the past few minutes, right? It'll get overwhelmed, it'll get heightened, and the stress level, when it exceeds its limits, right, person explodes. So you got to really watch out and all that. Lastly, how could one control his or her frustration? There are a few tips which we want to discuss, and which with that we will close. All right. Think before you speak. Don't speak and think. Many people get into the habit of speaking and thinking. No, think before you speak. That's important principle, right? In the heat of the moment, it's easy to say something, but afterwards there is no point regretting. Like I have told this many times, this example, it's like that bow getting released, a bow getting arrow getting released out of bow. The moment you shoot and hurt a person, that too at a closer distance, you can imagine the person is not going to heal at all, right? Or person may be killed. You may kill his aspirations, you may kill his emotions, you may kill the respect that he or she had got for you. Therefore, before you release that arrow out of that string, wait. Because why? You're releasing it against your friend, against a known person. He's not your enemy. Actually, you can't even release against an enemy. You know, from humanitarian standpoint, even if against you, you cannot hurt even your enemy. You got to be very patient, forgiving nature, and all these things only can build relationships. That's how our society gets more stronger. On top of that, if you're releasing the arrow against your own friend, or against your own relationship, known ones, dear ones, what kind of a human being we are, right? We need to really think. And the frustrate before you get involved in any kind of actions, please think on the post consequences, that you cannot rebuild, or regain that relationship. Once gone, it's gone, finished, right? So once you are calm, express your anger in the sense, you walk out of that place, find isolated place, stay alone for some time, take a deep breath, drink water, whatever you want, right? Practice all these techniques. Therefore, you calm down a little bit and then express. Your words will change, your facial reactions will change, everything will change. So you got to be also watching out. Get some exercise for yourself. Why? Because when you get involved in exercise, talk to any physiotherapist. A lot of chemicals, good chemicals that are needed for the body, right, that are going to be produced. You can also google, if you don't believe me, 10 minutes you exercise, certain chemicals gets released. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes at regular intervals, lot of chemicals that are needed for our good reactions from the emotional perspective, psychological perspective, and also you can stay healthy. Your muscles will start functioning well. Your you won't look so aged and all that. Look how young I am looking, no? I was just kidding. Okay, so you won't look age for your external appearance, or also for the way how you behave. Also, will be in good control. You will live as a very healthy person internally and externally, right? And that's very important. Get involved in exercise. Take some breaks, regular breaks. Don't overwork or overrun, and that is the major source for frustration. So you need to really watch out. Take regular breaks, take timeouts, go for a holiday trip with your family, or not during the pandemic situation, but after that, I'm saying. Identify possible solutions. If you cannot identify a solution by yourself, please consult somebody. Why? Because you don't have the capacity, or you're not able to think, because you're already in frustration. Therefore you need some help. So take help. What is the harm? Why are you so egoistic that you do not want to reach to somebody and take help? Of course you can take help. We are human beings. We need to help each other, and that's how we develop a healthy society and a healthy community. I keep telling this, right? And stick with I statements. Make it singular. This is what I think. Don't ever make it plural, or don't ever make it universal. I heard about you from many people. You might have heard, but it is your decision, right? I might have heard, but this is what I think. I'm not too sure whether I'm right or not. When you make it singular, what happens is it becomes a kind of a little passive voice, and also it lowers your tone also, and the listeners' ears also. It'll be little soothing. You won't add more fire to sorry fuel to the burning fire, right? And don't hold a grudge. I keep telling this. Don't hold a grudge, because frustration develops lots of hatred in you. Don't hold a grudge. Let go. Forgive people. They are, after all, human beings. They are like you. You also make mistakes. Everyone make mistakes. If your opponent is going to hold grudge against you, hatred, and waiting for the right opportunity and hammer you, you will get hurt, no? So don't do that to your friend or your enemy also. You may not like somebody. Disliking is okay. Agreed. But converting that to hatred, grudge, enmity, revenge, defense, avenging, bad, bad. That's demonic, I would say. Sorry to use that strong word, right? Lastly, use lot of humor to release tensions. You want to watch Charlie Chaplin jokes, or you want to listen to somebody, or get the companionship of a very humorous person. I have lot of humor in me, but these are all little serious sessions. Therefore I don't want to mix humor, but now and then I also crack joke. But I love humor, and I am a very humorous person by nature. But when I get into frustration, that humor won't come out. I will be in need of humor, right? Therefore I will be turning off some TV channel and watching some jokes or something like that, and you'll feel very relaxed. And again, good chemicals they release. When you smile, what happens? Only few facial muscles work. When you frown, all facial muscles are working. Therefore stress is no good for your body, no good for your health. Frustration is no good for your progress in life. Therefore I wish you all the best to quit frustration, and I've given you enough reasons why you should quit frustration. God bless you. I hope this was a useful session. Leave behind the feedback in the comment section and share it with your friends. Subscribe to our channel. We keep releasing all this kind of videos, and these are only going to help you. And we wish you good luck to march ahead in your life and be a victor and be a very successful person. God bless you. I'll meet you soon. Bye. Take care.